I see crazy Lions fans talking crazy, like, oh, why would we do this? Like, bro, do you guys like have no trust in Dan? Like in the Lions, like you think they just hire a random dude? Like, be for real. Like, you think they don't know what they're doing? They don't do their research. They don't interview. Like, most of you guys don't know really much about anything, about any ball.
Wow. Wow.
And you're tweeting about a coach that was hired that you guys don't like because of XYZ. Like, it's just funny to me to see. Don't get me wrong, I love all Lions fans, but they are so quick to make, judgments about who we hired, who we did this. Like, bro, just relax, calm down. Like, let the whole thing play out. Like, you guys just let it play out. Just relax. That's all I gotta say. Relax, man.
Yo, what's happening? Happy Thursday. Welcome to Johnny Gaz Live. We are just after 9:30. There is a ton of good stuff going around in the Detroit sports scene. We got great football coming up this weekend with the NFC, AFC championship games. We got Amon-Ra calling out the fans. We got the Pistons winning without Cade Cunningham. We got a goalie for the Red Wings getting talked about as a Vezina Trophy winner. We got so many good things going around in Detroit sports. Let's get into it today. Welcome to Johnny Gaz Live. Thank you for joining me on a Thursday. We are live on Tuesdays and Thursdays, just like this at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, talking Detroit sports, Lions, Pistons, Red Wings, Tigers, the national scene, and all the fun that we can have surrounding sports. I appreciate you guys for joining me. Thank you so much for getting involved in the live. Make sure to say hello in the chat. Appreciate you guys for getting involved early. Blitzing Lion, what's happening, buddy? Appreciate you getting there early. If you guys are joining me for the first time, make sure to say hello. I love to get your opinions, your feedback. I want to make sure you and your voice is heard as we talk about all of the topics that we have for you today. Make sure to slap the like button on the stream. It's the best free way to help out the channel. Share it out there to your friends and family. Let's get more people involved here with Johnny Gaz Sports. And again, thank you for joining me on a Thursday. We got so many good things ahead of us here. I'm very excited for championship weekend. Nothing better than seeing the Final Four teams square off. The best four, presumably the best four. And what I'm going to do today is we're going to look at those games. We're going to preview. I'm going to give you my predictions. But more importantly, we're going to compare them, those four teams, the Final Four left in the NFL, to our Detroit Lions. And ultimately, we're going to answer the question, are the Lions really that close to a Super Bowl? So that's today, that's tonight, that's the plan. I appreciate you guys for getting involved. What's happening? Don't know Grit. Appreciate you. No worries. Just got started. Not a problem. Jay Cruisin, how you doing? Precision, what's up? What's up, Joe Baby? I like that. Hey, Joe Baby. Oh, man, there's no neutral option on the poll. You're right. You know what? I should have done that. My bad, Joe. You're right. I should have put a neutral option up there. You know, if you feel neutral about it, on the YouTube side, we're on Facebook and YouTube right now live. On the YouTube side, we have a poll going right now. I'm asking the question, are you happy with the Drew Petzing hire for offensive coordinator? It's a yes or no answer. And there is a little bit in between there. So I agree with you, Joe, baby. I think we probably should have gave a little middle ground. My bad. Next one. Next poll. That's right. I'm just trying. I need you to make a decision, Joe. It's all good, baby. I just appreciate you being involved. And I like that name at Hey Joe Baby. So let's start with what I opened. If you're just joining us, you probably didn't see the intro, but we did get the Amon-Ra St. Brown comments from the St. Brown podcast. So let's start right there, because I think that's a very interesting topic. It's great for Lions fans to weigh in. I want to hear what you guys think more than anything else. I'm not going to play it again because I feel like I will be stricken for copyright. I'm not sure I'm allowed to even do that. So starting it off with that video was probably not my smartest move, but I wanted to give live some context. I'm sure you've all seen it. If you go to the Johnny Gaz Facebook page, I do have that in my feed if you need to see the actual audio. But let's kind of set the scene for this. On his podcast, St. Brown basically told the fans to chill out. He said things like, do you guys have no trust in Dan and the Lions? And most of you guys don't really know much about any ball. That's a direct quote. This, of course, in response to all the criticism that fans had of the new offensive coordinator hire, Drew Petzing, coming from the Arizona Cardinals. He even called some fan responses crazy and urged them to let the hire play out before jumping to conclusions. So we're going to start right there today with that quote from Amon-Ra St. Brown. And again, if you haven't seen it or heard it, you can find it on the Johnny Gaz Sports Facebook page. Of course, the St. Brown podcast on YouTube. And I don't know that he was necessarily attacking fans in this case. I think he attacked the tone of the criticism more than anything. Kind of taking the stance of the premature reaction. But we have to give it some context. I mean, it's the past several days, and if you joined us live on Tuesday, we really went heavy into that offensive coordinator hiring. That was the entire episode, was us breaking down the hire, talking about the good, the bad, the in-between. So we got to give us some context. The criticism isn't happening in a vacuum. It's not like this is nowhere. That's his track record with the Knicks. People are reacting to it. He's got NFL experience, but he's not a household name. It didn't generate the buzz that I think a lot of people wanted. So from a fan perspective, I think you can understand the criticism. And of course, we're coming off a season where they were 9-8 after a 15-2 in a divisional round loss. They missed the playoffs this year, and now they make another their guy hire. I'll put it that way. Coming off the John Morton offensive coordinator disaster. Well, now they reach again. So you have a lot of fans questioning it. So my thing to you guys here in chat is ultimately, do you think this criticism from St. Brown is warranted? Is it fair for him to criticize fans? And should he have come at it this way? For me, I think he went way too hard at the fans in this case. The argument that I will make is that although we all love Amon-Ra St. Brown and everything that he's brought to this Lions organization, he's an all-pro, he's the hardest worker on your team, he's a captain, he's everything you want in a star wide receiver. Except the fact that he has a podcast and is open to just say about anything that he wants. Now, I'm okay with most of it, but when it now involves my fandom and our fandom, everybody that's here live, I don't know that it's fair for him to question that. When's the last time Amon-Ra St. Brown has had to buy season tickets? When's the last time Amon-Ra St. Brown had to purchase a streaming service just to watch a football game? How long has Amon-Ra St. Brown been a fan of the Detroit Lions? And I'm not saying all this to knock Amon-Ra St. Brown. I love the man. I love the player. I love what he brings to the Lions. And I would never want to give him up. But to me, this criticism was way unfair. Too harsh, too much. And whether or not you're correct, and I hope he is correct. I hope the fact that he's backing this hire tells you or gives a little bit more confidence to the situation, because I think that's what a lot of Lions fans were looking for. And he kind of gave that, but he also threw it back in your face. So that's where I come from with this, is I just think fans are allowed to criticize the team. Fans are allowed to ask questions of a team that failed on their last offensive coordinator hire. The head coach had to take over the offensive play calling from that bad hire. And now we're just supposed to expect or assume that they'll make this the right decision. And I don't think that's fair for Amon-Ra to throw it back in the fans' faces. So I'm not going at the player. I certainly love everything that he brings to the table football-wise, but I just think this was a little far off base, and I'd love to hear what you guys think. Don't Know Grit says, I think he was specifically speaking on the outspoken negative outcry and those responsible. So you think he's pinpointing that argument to maybe those that have opened up that criticism that made it become bigger than it needed to be? Is that what I'm hearing? Jay Cruiser says he was gunning on the fake SOL fans. Fair? Joe Baby says, I agree with the sentiment, I guess. It's kind of weird when a team says all year it's Super Bowl or bust, we have higher expectations, and when they lose, they're like, why is everyone so mad? That's a great point, Joe. And I think that's kind of why fans get a little bit up in arms. I think that's why I sort of get a little bit upset, because I'm okay with my team, my organization having that sort of that attitude, that carry that positive or that swagger, right? But I think when the swagger turns into a confidence that isn't backed up by the performance, I think that's where you start to question things. So I'm with you. I think that's a great statement. Den Webb says, I support St. Brown's position 100%. That's fair. That's fair. And there's people that feel that way. And there's certainly a lot of folks that came at me in the way that I talked about the Drew Petzing hire, even though I didn't blow it up. I wasn't against it. I was just trying to figure it out. I certainly questioned the hire, and I question how things will work out long term, but I'm also willing to dissect it and try to understand and hear it from all angles. But I hear you, Den Webb, and that's fair. Detroit Fan Man says, trying to be excited for the possibility of Manu playing the skipper role, in-line blocking, red zone threat, huge tight end. Can Manu catch? Yeah, we might need another tight end, right? With what Petzing wants to bring to the table, we're going to need him. And that's another big one for today. Another story, and we'll get into that, is the Dan Skipper retirement. We did get that news today, and of course, we all love Dan Skipper, wish him the best. Sounds like he's going to go into the coaching side of things now, so we appreciate what Dan Skipper gave to the Lions. Manu probably knows he's up man next when Skip announces his retirement. Yeah, Jay Cruz, and I think you're right. Den Webb says, I believe that Detroit fans are way too quick to criticize. So, Den Webb, are you a Detroit Lions fan? Have you been a Detroit Lions fan your whole life? Because my argument in return, and I don't disagree with you necessarily, there are certainly people that are too quick to jump the gun on certain things. And in the world that we live in today with social media and immediate gratification, I mean, that's just part of life a little bit. But at the same time, I think longtime Lions fans, I'm 40 years old. I hear from a lot of folks that are 60, 70, 80 years old that have been following this team their entire life, and they've been let down over and over and over again. And they continue to support, and they continue to buy tickets, and they continue to wear the jerseys and buy the t-shirts and the hats because they love the Lions. So is it criticism or is it fair questioning, right? And I want to make sure we separate the two. It's also kind of crazy to give an OC your endorsement and then throw back at us that we don't know ball when you endorsed that last OC and it failed. So who doesn't know ball? You're right. Hey, Joe Baby. I mean, that's a great point. I mean, again, I don't want to beat that up too much, but you make a great point. And I guess in the end of things, for a football player to look at fans and say, you don't know ball, like, let's not pretend this is rocket science. Let's not pretend like this is brain surgery. You're not saving lives, Amon-Ra. You're playing a game. And we can all watch the same game that you play. Now, I'm not sitting here saying I'm like a coach or I can break it down like Dan and Petzing can do it, right? I'm not pretending to be that. But don't throw back at folks that have watched football their entire life, played football their entire life, have understood the game, been around coaches, been involved with families who have been coaches. I think that is a weak man's argument to throw it back that way. So I think we need to put it all into context just a little bit. Don't Know Grit says, if I'm allowed to criticize Amon-Ra for dropping a football, he's allowed to criticize me for my opinion. Turnabout and all that. Fair. Dead Webb says, yes, I've been a Detroit fan for over 60 years. I'm also a coach, so I understand how it's easy for them to criticize. It is easy. But I'm also glad to hear you've been a fan. So you do understand the long-term letdown that this organization has given many fans. What's up, Antoine? Appreciate you, buddy. He says, I think we're going to be running more of a jumbo package this upcoming season, so I'm looking forward to the run game. And I think that's one of the positives that Petzing is going to bring, among many other things. The zone rushing scheme. I think if the Lions can shore up the offensive line, that there's a lot of positive. He's going to have so much more talent than he ever had in Arizona across the offensive line, and then obviously with the running back situation. So I am very excited. Obviously, Sam Laporta, I think, will benefit huge when he's able to get back from his injury, and they're going to have to add tight ends. But if they can do that, Petzing can set some things up. Ruin says, no, they're not that close. They're in decline, but it's salvageable. I'm not convinced that Holmes is the guy to do it, though. Bruin, I think there's people increasingly getting to that point, asking more and more questions. And again, some people find that to be unfair and don't like that criticism, and that's fine. I can see it from both sides. I mean, certainly you can take that criticism too far. But I think the way that we're talking about it now, we're asking the simple questions. We're hoping for the best. We're trying to look at this in all different angles and figure out if this will work for our Lions, work for the Lions. So, I mean, we got to kind of look at it from both angles. From Amon-Ra St. Brown's side, obviously players inside the building know more than we'll ever know and understand that the conversations have taken place that have now led to this hiring. So they understand the philosophies. St. Brown had even said that he spoke to Jared Goff and learned that Petzing had a personal connection with Ben Johnson, so he knew the background. Petzing actually reached out to St. Brown himself just to let him know he was excited, so they had connected. And again, things that we just aren't a part of and will never be a part of and wouldn't understand. So from Amon-Ra's perspective, obviously he has a lot of the background and information that us as fans are looking for that we may never get. Danny says, I appreciate you, Danny. Good to see you, buddy. Member of the YouTube side of Johnny Gaz Sports. I really appreciate you, bud. Says, Amon-Ra spoke out of pocket, but I don't think it was meant the way it came out. It was out of his own personal frustrations. He's still a kid. Hey, I'm with you. I'm 40, but he's human. I'm with you. And I think one of the issues I think that we run into in today's world, and I'm sitting here a living example of maybe what a lot of people don't like, is that anybody can get up here and have a platform. Some people do it better than others. And I don't know where I fall in that pecking order, but I just do what I like to do. I do what's personal to me. I love the Lions. I try to spit it back at you guys and have good conversation. That's why I'm here. Other people do it for other reasons. Amon-Ra St. Brown obviously has his platform through the podcast. That wasn't a thing 25 years ago. Why he still has to do that on top of being an NFL wide receiver and having other opportunities, I mean, it is what it is, but that's today's world. That's today's athlete. It's easy to be a star when you're winning. Let's see how this team responds when they get embarrassed. Yeah, I mean, right now, I think they're kind of at that point where it's like, turn this back the right way and it was always real. Or if it continues down this path, then we're going to continue to ask questions, right? Thanks, Don't Know Grit. I appreciate you. Thank you. I wasn't fishing for it, but I appreciate it. Again, everybody has their path, right? And we're going to sit here today and we're going to continue to talk about it. And I just wanted to make sure that I gave an opportunity for you guys to tell me how you felt. I want to kind of bounce things off of you and see if how I'm feeling is justified. Because to me, I think fans do have a right to question decisions. That's part of being a passionate fan base. That's why the Lions are able to sell out the stadium without question. That's why people are waiting for season tickets. That's why they're making more money than they've ever made before. Skepticism is inherently disrespectful or unreasonable. It isn't. It isn't. It's just skepticism. Now, when it comes to like turning that into personal attacks and saying things that are just mean-spirited, then that's taking it way too far over the top. And that you will never get here from Johnny Gaz Sports or any of the good people you see in this chat. We're here to break it down, look at the football side of things, and try to come up with conclusions, solutions, conversations. I think Amon-Ra's right. Patience and trust it's warranted, right? But his delivery, I think, is what really rubbed people the wrong way. Coming from that podcast, they've said things in the past. They're not afraid to say most things. And I just think that's what ultimately rubbed people the wrong way. Especially when people feel like their concerns aren't being fairly acknowledged from the organization. And we know that Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, the Lions going to do it their way. They're not going to do what the fans say, not going to do what the media is telling them to do, or the obvious choices that they've laid out in front of us. Remember all these OC candidates that had the interviews that they told us that would be the next OC, and none of that came true. It was what the Lions wanted. It's what Dan Campbell, Jared Goff, Brad Holmes, and everybody on the inside wanted it, and they went and did it. So now they have to prove it. And that's where I was coming from on Tuesday. And I'm kind of at the same point here after this Amon-Ra St. Brown audio. Bruin, I appreciate you, man. Yes, please slap that like button on the stream if you haven't already. It's the best free way to help out the channel. Bruin, thank you so much, buddy. That means the world to me that you would step up and do that. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Hey, Joe Baby says, personally, I think the players have the right to question the org's process, a decision, a smidge right now, but I reckon they're so afraid to be labeled turds on the team, they aim it outward instead. You might be right, Joe, because, right, the easy thing in some cases is to just outwardly spew it or spew it towards something else. Deflect, right? Deflection. DP will get this offense running like a song. I hope you're right, Trim. Good to see you, my brother. If it wasn't for fans' money, franchise will go bankrupt. I mean, Drake Cruz, and that's kind of like, that's like the bare bones of it, right? And that doesn't mean that fans could just do whatever they want. There is a limit, and we kind of talked about that. Criticism up to the point where it becomes disrespectful or unreasonable, right? And that's not where we want to be. What's up, Robert? How you doing, buddy? He says, Amon-Ra was mostly frustrated and spoke out of emotion. He deserves a mulligan, but questioning and unfair criticism are not the same thing. Yeah, I agree. I agree, buddy. Robert, a member of our Facebook channel, on the Facebook side of things. I appreciate you, Robert. Again, it is free to subscribe on YouTube or Facebook, but if you want to become a member for a small monetary fee, I do put out a ton of fun content, but there is always free stuff free here at Johnny Gaz Sports, as well as these lives every Tuesday and Thursday night at 9:30. What up, Doe? What up, Doe? Let me give you guys one of these because I got this ready for us now too. Let's go. We're always adding good things. We're always adding some fun to Johnny Gaz Sports, the lives. I'm going to have so much more fun things coming up. It's going to be great. So that was our main. That was our that was our appetizer for the day. The Amon-Ra story is our appetizer. That was our appetizer for the evening. Our entree is going to be coming up in a little bit. But why don't we eat dessert first, right? Let's flip the menu a little bit. That was not the plan, but I want to end with the main. So let's get into that cake. Let's get into that ice cream a little bit, and let's go around the D. Around the D with Johnny G. Let's start with our Red Wings. Let's start with the Red Wings, who actually are playing tonight. Actually, probably just puck dropped, honestly. This is a 9:30 drop in Minnesota, playing the Wild. Actually, Detroit got 1-0 already in this game. 13-17 into the first. Detroit already on the board. Lucas Raymond with a power play goal, putting Detroit up 1-0 already in Minnesota. So a good start for our Wings there. They are truly, truly rolling. They're coming off 2 consecutive overtime wins. Their most recent one against the Maple Leafs. 2-1 victory in overtime in Toronto at Scotiabank Arena. I thought it was a good game. It really had a playoff feel. Both Detroit teams playing right now, the Pistons and Red Wings, every game they get into is just so hard fought. Everything has kind of this playoff atmosphere to it. Wings and Leafs last night, I thought, same thing. Dylan Larkin, the captain, of course, finishes it off in OT, 3:08 into the overtime period. Mo Seider's takeaway that led to the assist was incredible. Puts all the pressure in the world at the blue line, forces the turnover. Quick assist to the captain, flips it over into the net. Game over. Red Wings win 2-1. It was a great game to watch. It really was. Red Wings at 31-16-4. And they've gone 7-1-0 in their last 8 games, heading into the next stretch of their schedule. And again, right now they're up 1-0 over Minnesota. But I think the thing that's most impressive about the Wings right now, they're controlling the pace of these games. I think the most impressive thing and what may be the biggest point of turnaround for this season for the Wings is their goalie. I think John Gibson is playing second level right now. He's getting talked about in the Vezina Trophy conversation. So what a pickup. I mean, and to me, that's making the ultimate difference. So if you talk about looking forward to this team potentially getting themselves in the playoffs for the first time since 2016, I think the possibility is there big time this year, more so than any year we had the last few because of the goaltending, because I think they actually have a Vezina caliber goaltender, and the confidence that gives a team, the defense, I think can carry the day. I really do. Detroit is sitting near the top of the Atlantic Division right now, tied with Tampa for points. CBS Sports has Detroit inside the top 3 as far as their power rankings. They get balanced scoring, strong defense, bottom of the top consistency. I mean, again, if you compare that to the team from last year, I just think, and again, they finished outside the playoffs and kind of let you down. They really let me down because I kind of had the excitement brewing like I do this year. But again, the difference to me is the more consistent goaltending that they're getting from Gibson. He really is playing fantastic. So I will keep you guys posted as the Red Wings are playing the Wild right now. We are just under 12 minutes in the first period. Wings up 1-0 on a Lucas Raymond power play goal. I will keep you posted as this game progresses. Yeah, you got to love the Wings. And I suggest, if you're not watching Red Wings hockey, if you can get yourself back into it, I would strongly suggest it. Very exciting. Worth the watch every time. So let's talk our Pistons. They're also rolling. And man, is this fun when both the teams are rolling. I'll tell you what, it makes things a lot easier. Detroit cruised to a 112-104 road win over a struggling New Orleans Pelicans team. They were without star Cade Cunningham, giving him another day of rest for that wrist injury. I think it's a smart play, especially playing the lowly Pelicans in this matchup. Now, 112-104 doesn't blow you away, but I really thought the Pistons controlled this game from start to finish. I really do. Jalen Duren stepped up in Cade's absence. 20 points, 15 rebounds. Dennis Jenkins poured in 17. Duncan Robinson had 4 3-pointers, 15 points. The balance was there, and that's what you want to see, especially in a game where Cade isn't available. Karis LeVert was also not available for the Pistons, and despite missing Cade and Karis, they still hung in there. The depth delivered, and the Pistons continue to roll. What's crazy is all 5 starters actually finished in double digits, so spreading the wealth. Now, again, the argument to be made there that there's still not that second primary scorer that would potentially put them over the top, but you just see where that balance is and how they're able to spread it around. Bench and role players are stepping up. Jenkins, Thompson, just more of a sign of a complete roster. I think the one question you have is Jaden Ivey. Outside of everybody else's great performance last night, he really didn't play a ton of minutes, and that's been kind of the deal with him. And the question is, are they setting him up for a trade? Is that the move that's ultimately made here? Is there a market for Jaden Ivey out there? What is the future for Jaden Ivey? So I'll keep my ear to the ground on that one. I will let you know as we get closer and closer to the February 5th trade deadline. We'll see if the Pistons end up making a move, and is Jaden Ivey a part of that process? Cheers, everybody. Trim Reaper be a little buzz. I like that, buddy. Just hang in there. We love that. Wings and Pistons are legit. That's right. I miss Big Ben too, brother. We really do. Robert says, do you see a going-to-work Pistons type resurgence here, Johnny Gaz Sports, potentially? You know, I've heard that, Robert. I've actually heard some comparisons to the 04 team. I don't know. I feel like they're missing a little bit of personality that the 04 team really had. I mean, you talk about Big Ben, Rasheed Wallace, Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince. I mean, those guys, iconic, obviously championship winners, legends. So it translates 20 years later, right? But this team, I certainly believe, works as hard defensively as that 04 team does. So I will sit there and say that. They don't score the basketball. Well, it's hard to compare teams, right? Because back then, teams weren't scoring 120 points a game, right? The going-to-work Pistons were beating teams 89-78. You know what I mean? So it was a little bit different, but I also feel like that Detroit team at least had more scoring power. Did it always mean 120, 130 points a game back then? No. But if you're, like, again, when I'm comparing those two teams, like they could go to Chauncey Billups and get a basket. They could go to Rip Hamilton and get a jump shot. They could go to Rasheed Wallace down in the block and know that he's going to go to work. I don't know that the Pistons now have that many options, right? So I think that's where there's still a little bit of difference. But look, time will tell. This Pistons team is something special. I really believe that. So right now, the Pistons sit at the top of the Eastern Conference standings, well ahead of Boston, Milwaukee, Philly, New York. A real complete turnaround from where this franchise was a couple years ago. They've won 7 of their last 8 and 4 straight as of this Pelicans victory. And they're getting contributions from all over this roster. Now, Cade, although he didn't play against the Pelicans, NBA All-Star and All-Star starter this year. And the first Piston player to earn that since Allen Iverson in 2009. That's pretty incredible. That's a long time to go without an All-Star starter. So Cade Cunningham had come out today and had praised Iverson and the franchise's All-Star history after getting this nod, kind of paying respect in that case. So hopefully he'll have some time to rest, recoup. We will see him All-Star weekend, and then we'll kind of see what the remainder of the season looks like. But what does it mean moving forward? What does the rest of the season look like? Can the Pistons continue to win without the star? For some reason, does the team have real depth and balance? And it seems like that's coming together. They lead the East right now, and they seem legitimate. This is not a fluke. And I think the question is, I think we're past the can they get over the East hump. The true question is, can they win an NBA title? That's really where we're at with the Pistons, and that is a great place to be. So let me know what you guys think. Red Wings, Pistons. Are you feeling good about what's going on around town right now? Have you guys been down to LCA to see a game recently? And are you currently watching the Red Wings game? Let me know what you think. Just under 10 minutes, still up 1-0 Wings with a power play goal from Lucas Raymond. Again, I'll continue to monitor that as we move about our live today. If you guys have not already, make sure to slap the like button on the stream. It's the best free way to help out the channel. I so much appreciate you guys being involved in our lives. Make sure to hit us up in the comments. Say hello if you're new. Introduce yourself. I want to make sure you are heard and that you have a chance to tell me how you feel. Or if you disagree with me, you can just tell me off. There's a lot of those people out there. I appreciate you guys so much. Again, Tuesdays, Thursdays. Tuesday's kind of a heavy Lions focus, where Thursday sort of becomes kind of an all-around. If there's something going on in the national scene, we hit on all the other Detroit sports. And I will start to introduce some even fun non-sports topics as we get deeper and deeper into these sessions. One quick announcement before we get to our main topic of the day. Want to make sure that you guys are aware, with no surprises, 2 weeks from now, the week of February 5th, I think it is. I'm going to pull this up so I have it exactly. I'm sorry, February 2nd. So starting Monday, February 2nd, through the following Monday, the 9th, Johnny Gaz and his wife will be on vacation. I'm heading to Mexico. We're going to Cancun. It's the first time we've taken a vacation since having our son 9 years ago, just me and my wife. I mean, we've had small getaways, and we make time for ourselves. Don't get me wrong, but it's the first time we're going to take a trip, spend some time away. We're going to an all-inclusive resort in Cancun. It's going to be great. I bring it up today not to brag about that. I'm excited, yes, but there will not be lives the first week of February. So Tuesday the 3rd and Thursday the 5th, unfortunately, there will be no Johnny Gaz Live. I'm very, very sorry. Just that 1 week while we are away on vacation, but I will be back the following week for Tuesday the 10th and then February the 12th. So again, no Johnny Gaz Live Tuesday, February 3rd, or Thursday, February 5th, as I'll be on vacation. I'll be back the following week, and I will be here next week. We'll be back the Tuesday the 27th and again on the 29th. So just a little update. I will post that to the page so you guys aren't surprised. I'm sure you'll be all right. Not the end of the world. I will still be around, and I'm hoping to have content still for you while I'm away, so no worries there. I'm definitely going to do a lot of things I shouldn't, Trim. That's the whole point. We need to have some time. Yeah, Danny, I got you, buddy. Tell me where I got to go. Well, we probably won't go too far away from the resort, to be honest with you, but we'll send the smoke signals from the resort. You know, you get it. You get what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't know. Great. Maybe, you know what, buddy? You gotta fill the gap for me. Fill the gap that week. Cancun. That's right, baby. That's right. And again, I'm sorry. I was not bringing that up to TBB braggadocious. I'm just letting you know that's where I'm going to be. I'll still probably be posting from Cancun. Might be a little buzzed up. So those might be some fun shorts. Come back and take a look at those that week. But there will be no live sessions at 9:30. Danny goes, yeah, don't leave the resort. Danny, I'm with you. We're not. Don't worry. Don't you worry. Wait, what? Michelle, I think you know what we're doing. Michelle, I don't have to tell you what we're doing. LOL says, don't know grid. I'll have to up my live game a lot in the next 2 weeks if I'll fill in. No, I wouldn't put you on the spot like that, buddy. No worries. We won't do that. But I do want to have you back here very, very soon. So maybe we could plan something for when I return. We'll get into some mock drafts or free agent review. I don't know. We'll get into something that'll be good. Yeah, we'll be good. No worries. So yeah, guys, let's get into our main topic of the day. I created another fun transition. Let's give that a shot. Let me first hit the music, and let's get into our main topic of the day. Motor City main topic. What do you guys think about that? Is that cool? Let's try it one more time. You get it. Motor City main event. You all get it. So we're going to try. That's the transition. This is the main event for today. Obviously, we have the championship games coming up. NFC, AFC, NFL championship game. It's a great weekend of football. I love Championship Sunday. 2 fantastic games we have ahead of us. So we're going to come at this from a few different angles. Obviously, I want to preview and predict the games for you. We're going to talk about the matchups, but I want to relate it all back to our Lions and ultimately answer the question, are they really that close to a Super Bowl? Okay, so we're going to relate that all the way back. So let's lay out the schedule. First and foremost, we got Broncos, Patriots, AFC Championship, 3 o'clock on Sunday, followed by Rams, Seahawks, NFC Championship at 6:30. Obviously, the winners will go to Super Bowl 60 with the Vince Lombardi Trophy on the line in Santa Clara. So we've set the scene. Let's start with Broncos, Patriots. Let's get into some X factors. I think first up, the big narrative is the backup quarterback, obviously starting for Denver. With Bo Nix suffering the unfortunate ankle injury at the end of that game in overtime, they're going to be with backup quarterback Jarrett Stidham. So already it sort of puts Denver playing from behind. But a lot of folks have come out and said that they believe Sean Payton and Jarrett Stidham can get enough going to keep that offense alive. And we know that Denver is very defense heavy. So if they can get the consistent defensive performance they've been getting, that potentially Jarrett Stidham might be able to hold his own. He is a veteran, limited game time experience, but for Denver to advance, it's got to be about the defense. They led the league with 68 sacks. They got a monstrous pass rush, so they have to disrupt the offense for the Patriots. That's how they win this football game. On the other side, the Patriots do have the ability to score, especially through the air. Drake May has a strong supporting cast. They can get explosive plays. But I think the other thing is that Drake May has a proponent to turn the football over. He loves fumbling the football, and that's held true in the playoffs. So they have to be careful with the football. Can Denver get after Drake May and this Patriot offense enough to hold in there? I think the matchups, Broncos defense versus Patriots offense, that's number one. The Pats' pass protection has to be stout against this Denver pressure. And then it's all about Stidham's game management, right? I mean, you lose Bo Nix. He has to manage the football game against New England's defense and their experience. That's what it's going to be about. That's how Denver can get a win. But for me, I think New England's combination of the way they're playing offensively, I think they're going to get a steadier quarterback performance in this one against Jarrett Stidham. I think the edge here goes to the Patriots. I think when you get down to Championship Sunday, you can't be iffy about your quarterback. And Jarrett Stidham might be able to manage the game, but I think that Drake May will win the Patriots the football game. So unless Denver's defense is able to get the ball back for them several times in this football game, I think New England wins this. I think it will end up being relatively close. So I will take the Patriots in a close one and have the Patriots moving on to the Super Bowl from this AFC Championship game. Let me know who you guys have in Broncos Patriots and your final score prediction. I'd love to hear from you guys. Trim says, I quit watching football when the Lions are done. Hey, that's fair. There's a lot of people out there like you, buddy. No worries. Don't know Grit says, I see no way Denver pulls this out. I'd be shocked. Yeah. Danny says, Peyton Manning managed his way to a Super Bowl with the Broncos. So, yeah, well, I mean, Peyton a little different than Jared Stidham, though, in that case. Jay Cruzen definitely has the Patriots moving on in this one as well. So let's move over to the NFC Championship game. Obviously, Rams, Seahawks. Rivalry renewed. Divisional rivalry, huge stakes, obviously, heading to the Super Bowl. These guys split their regular season meetings, and now they'll meet with the Super Bowl berth on the line. I killed the music. Now we don't got music left. Somebody's got to tell me when I killed the music. My bad. My bad. There we go. There we go. We're back. Seahawks right now, slight favorites at home here. And really, their defense is playing top tier. And, I mean, they really, although the San Francisco 49ers were really banged up and really down and out, I thought the Seahawks defense just swallowed them alive. Offense. Sam Darnold playing efficient enough football to make this offense move forward. The Rams will counter with the league's top scoring offense. Veteran leadership. They got high efficiency. Obviously, their quarterback, Matthew Stafford, MVP caliber this year. It really sets up the best offense in the Rams versus the best offense NFC-wise for an NFC title showdown. I don't think you could ask for anything more. Best offense, best defense. Let's see who's got it. Great coaching in this matchup. Rams have a chance to actually make history in this one. They could win 3 straight road playoff games and become one of just a handful of wild cards to reach the Super Bowl. Honestly, this one feels like a classic. The fact that you have Seahawks heavy defense, Rams, McVay, Stafford, offense, Puka Nacua. I love it. I love it. I didn't give the Seahawks enough credit during the regular season. I'll sit here and say that. I just did not. I didn't think that Sam Darnold would be able to give them enough offensively from his position so that the Seahawks would make noise. Their defense carried the day all year long. They got enough from Sam Darnold. They have a great rushing attack. They're going to be without Charbonnet, unfortunately, now. So can Kenneth Walker carry the day for the Seahawks? But if they can get the rushing attack going and Darnold's safe with the football, they can make moves here. But at the same time, I don't know how you bet against McVay and Stafford. I don't know how you do that. I'm sitting here now, and I'm still in between. So, guys, I need to hear from you. Who do you have in this game? Seahawks, Rams, NFC Championship. Who is going to the Super Bowl? I need to know. You got to tell me. Danny says, Seahawks defense. Love a good defense. I don't think you can argue that. Defense wins, baby. Trim says, Seattle wins it all. Theo's got Patriots, Seahawks. What's up, Theo? What's up, Daniel Morley? Thanks for coming to the chat. Appreciate you. He says, I have the Rams going all the way, and sadly, I see Stafford retire. You know what? If he goes out with an MVP at a Super Bowl, and I would imagine if that's the case, he's probably Super Bowl MVP too, absolutely retire. Retire on top. That'd be great. That's going to be a great matchup. That's I look forward to that one more than the first one, to be honest with you, because I think if there's a potential for a blowout, it's probably in that first one, Patriots over Denver. This one I think is going to be very close. I think it's going to be back and forth. I'm going to lean defense. I don't know. No, I'm not. And right now I'm going Rams. Guys, I'm going Rams. And I'm telling you, this was on the spot. I didn't have it written down. I didn't sit here for 4 hours before telling you how I was going to do it. I almost just told you I'm going Seahawks, and I couldn't even spit it out. So that tells me I need to go Rams. I'm shooting Rams here. I'm not betting against Matt Stafford. And I'm not even truly a Matt Stafford guy. Even when he's with the Lions, it's not like I was a crazy Matt Stafford supporter. I thought I had my Jared Goff jersey over there. I don't. Regardless, I'm not going to bet against him and McVay. I think, again, defense wins championships, and I like the defense that Seattle's bringing to the table, but I just feel like McVay's gonna get him. I don't think Stafford's gonna not allow the Rams to get to another Super Bowl. So I got Rams. So in that case, In that case, it would be a Patriots-Rams Super Bowl 60. What do you guys think? Would you be happy with that? Would you be happy with the New England Patriots versus the Los Angeles Rams in Super Bowl 60? Detroit Fan Man says, it's an insane year. Give me Sammy D MVP because I'm still not a fan of Seattle. Mostly based on our mini rivalry the past few years, but give me the Rain City Chickens over LAR. I love it, buddy. I love it. I love it. Appreciate you, Detroit Fan Man. Trim says Seahawks winning it all. So, Trim, you didn't like my pick. Sorry, buddy. I'm so sorry, man. But let's talk about the Detroit Lions comparisons, right? Because to me, that's what really matters for this group. And we're going to enjoy the football coming up this weekend. But what we really want is for our Lions to be in this situation next year with a shot to get to Super Bowl 61. And that's what this is all about. Daniel says, that's my pick for the Super Bowl. So you got Pats and Rams as well, buddy? I like that. Michelle says, Denver could pull it out. Bradshaw was a backup when he won. That's a good point. I mean, that was like 30 years before I was born, Michelle, but that's cool. I love you. I'm just kidding. I love you. Johnny Cash, I love you, brother. It's written on the wall, Dr. Phil. I love it. Trim, you crack me up, brother. But yeah, we got to relate this back to the Lions because this is what we're here for. This is what it's all about. Are the Lions really that close to getting to Super Bowl 61? What specifically are Detroit's strengths and weaknesses in comparison to these other teams? Obviously, Lions didn't make the playoffs, finishing at 9-8. They were out of contention. But they still have one of the more explosive offenses in the league. Even with the transition with the offensive coordinator, they have the firepower. They've proven they can put up the stats, but can they do it consistently again and at the right time so that it will get them over the hump? They were 5th in yards per game and points per game. They ranked ahead of Denver in yards and scoring and had one of the top passing attacks in the league. In looking at the Patriots, Detroit's offense compares very favorably, but New England finds big plays and can score quickly. Detroit's consistency issues were their undoing. So when you look at a game like when the Lions played the Giants, big yardage, but a lot of that big yardage came in big chunks. They were able to make big plays. Gibbs reeled off multiple 40, 50, 60-yard runs, but they weren't able to get the sustained rushing attack back, if that makes sense. The consistent clock-eating, possession-stealing, rushing attack that they had in 23-24 wasn't there. Now, the Rams offense ranks among the best that Detroit faced this year, and the Rams can score from anywhere. And we saw what Detroit's defense was not able to do against that Rams offense when it really came down to it. Looking at the Seahawks, obviously you got to compare defenses. And although I think Detroit's offense could hold its own against Seattle's defense, the question is Detroit's defense anywhere close to what Seattle's putting out there? You know, Detroit's defense against all these Final Four defenses, I think, is really the biggest discrepancy when you look at where the Lions are at compared to the Final Four. Offensively, I think with the new coordinator, obviously tweaking the offensive line, there's still so much firepower there to where you can see that this could keep rolling. It's not going to take much to get this offense back to where we'd like it to be, considering they were still high class last year, even with all the inconsistency. So to me, the biggest discrepancy between the Detroit Lions and the current Final Four teams in the NFL is the defense. Detroit's defense was middle of the pack at best. 22nd in scoring, 20th against the pass, far below each one of these remaining teams. The Broncos defense anchored by an elite pass rush, which the Lions really don't have outside of Aiden Hutchinson. You could argue Mohammed, but that was so inconsistent. The Seahawks have the top defensive points allowed. Patriots and Rams both have above average defensive units. So where the Lions need growth, consistent pass defense, which was affected by all the injuries in their back end. We know that. And all of that is helped out by a consistent pass rush or a dominant pass rush. If you have that, you're definitely helping out your back end. In Seattle's case, you have a little bit of both. that are playing off of each other, and that's what makes one of the best units in all of football, the best defense in football. So they need more up front, the Lions. They need to get healthy in the back end and shore up their cornerback position, and they need to be able to get situational stops. And if you can do that, then you're looking more like the Final Four teams that have found themselves in championship weekend. Gavis Concon, what's up? Says that was last year. This upcoming year has nothing to do with last year. New slate. I'm scared. I don't see any improvements. Yeah, I mean, look, Gavis Concon, there's got to be change. I mean, they're offensive line number one, and that's kind of where I'm going. Let's because that's literally where I'm going with this. What is the Lions' path to championship contender status? Now that we see the Final Four teams, we've seen what the Lions had put out this year and what the path may be this offseason. So if Detroit wants to get to where these Final Four teams are, here's what I believe they need to do. They need to improve their offensive line. The continuity, they have to be able to protect the quarterback and open up rush lanes. I mean, that's obvious, but it was clear that last season, because of the Frank Ragnow retirement, the two young interior guards, and a fall off from Taylor Decker, that the Lions just were not the same up front on their offensive line. And for them to get back to where they want to be in 2026 and even put them in the light of a contender for a Super Bowl, they need to revamp this offensive line. Number two is defensive upgrades. They have to add talent to their defensive line. Aiden Hutchinson needs as much help as possible. Yes, he's a defensive player of the year candidate this year, but imagine what he could be if there was more effective talent on that defensive line. It would open up a lot more opportunity. And in comparison to the four teams that are in championship weekend, if the Lions don't improve across their defensive front, if they can't get some luck on the injury side in the back end, then they're going to be in the same situation they were in this year. Defense is so important. And even if there wasn't a marked improvement offensively, if the Lions are able to make some changes, add talent to their defensive front, shore up the cornerback room, and help their defense, it really could set them up for success, even without a full flip of this offense. And lastly, it's consistency in the clutch. Coaching, understanding the scheme, setting yourself up for success. Close out tight games, winning the turnover battle, efficiency, clean football. It all relates back to coaching. We know that this Dan Campbell program wants to run itself a certain way, and I don't think at times last year it was that program. So they need to get back to that identity offensively and defensively. Because I believe right now, Detroit's ceiling offensively is legit. But defensively and in actual situational execution, they're honestly a step behind this Final Four. So offensively, I think they're right there. Defensively, I don't think they're anywhere close. But that doesn't mean that future contention isn't far away. That doesn't mean that there aren't moves that can be made this offseason that would put them in that position. To me, I feel like the growth areas are clear and they are addressable. So it comes down to Dan Campbell, Motor City, Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, the entire organization to make the necessary moves to put them in a position where they will be in Championship Sunday next year. So just to recap, guys, here's what I got. I have Patriots over the Broncos in the AFC title game. I'm going to take the Rams over the Seahawks in the NFC title game. That would make a Patriots-Rams Super Bowl for Super Bowl 60. It would be a fun matchup. It's going to be a good weekend of football. It's unfortunate our Lions aren't a part of it, but it's a great way for us to compare and figure out where this team has to go to get there. I think the window's open, guys. They just got to pull the right buttons, the right levers. You get what I'm saying? It can happen. Don't know says, I think the rush lanes will be there next year. I hope so, buddy. I hope so. And I hope scheme and talent will all mend itself together there to where it makes that cohesion come back. Yavis Concon says, all playoff teams right now have incredible defenses, especially at linebacker. We only have Jack, Anzo, and Barnes are washed up. The backside of that argument is very fair. I'm not sure what happens with Anzalone. My thought is he was going to leave. I do think they end up having to draft linebackers this year. We'll see what they end up doing there. I agree with you, though. Jack is a good start, though. Let's put it that way. Jack's a great start in the middle. Trim says, do you know what happens to people who watch Johnny Gaz Sports and don't like and subscribe? Do you? Appreciate you, buddy. Yeah, if you haven't already, hit that like button on the stream. It's the best free way to help out the channel. You can subscribe for the high price of $0.0, where I have content every single day at Johnny Gaz Sports, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, X, TikTok. I'm all over. If you search at Johnny Gaz Sports, you will find Detroit sports content. Can the Lions sign Milano? Is he free agent? For sure. Now, there's another guy, though, that is often injured. So, and then the Lions love to grab from that discount bargain bin. Now, that won't be a huge discount for Milano if he's available. But again, it's an injury concern guy, Detroit Fan Man says, to me, the biggest questions immediately are still both the offensive line. Is Penny a left tackle and is Tate an offensive center? What do you think? I think that Penny, it just depends on what talent they bring in. If they draft a tackle, like, for instance, what they could do is say, we'll take the best tackle available to us. And if it happens to be a right tackle, then absolutely you shift Penny over to left. But if you end up falling into a left tackle that you're happy with, you don't have to make the switch. Or for some reason, Decker doesn't retire, you could keep it the way it is. I don't know about Tate at center. I think they gave him a small opportunity this past offseason, and they really didn't stick to it long. I see them giving him another shot, but again, I think it comes down to what's available to them in the draft. I really do. I think they're so draft heavy that they'll say, we'll take the best tackle or center that comes to us, or they'll take the best tackle, center, or guard that comes to them, and then shift what they currently have. Now, is that the best strategy? I don't know. That's the true question. Defense being healthy will be the difference. I mean, Theo, that's huge for the Lions, especially in their secondary. The safeties alone, if they could get some luck, and it's scary to think that neither of those guys will come back 100% healthy. We know what's happening with Kirby Joseph in the knee. It's a non-operable thing, and they're just basically saying time and rest. But what says the next time he tweaks it? And then with the Achilles for Branch, that just takes time. So he's going to miss at least half the season next year. So you're already kind of in a tough spot. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the secondary, at least for the beginning of the year. Milano for 1 year, just need one Super Bowl. I got other stuff to worry about. That's fine. Yeah, take him on for 1 year. That's why I was okay with the McDaniel thing. I know it didn't work out, and I won't beat that up here now, but like, one of the arguments was, well, McDaniel will just go be a head coach after this year if he does well. I don't care. Win us a Super Bowl, then go take a head coach job. I'll take the one Super Bowl. I'm with you. Detroit Fan Man says, so Decker's $21 million cap hit seems impossible to maintain. He's kind of got to retire, right? So maybe that's really the direction. So does the organization force him out the door because of that? Couldn't they just restructure to Detroit Fan Man? I mean, that's always an option. They can always restructure, and he could retire next year, but it's really going to come down to how he feels. The organization will respect the true health of the player. And if he comes to him and says, my body just can't take it anymore, then that's the right call for him, and it will be the right call for the Lions because they'll get that cap space back. I really see that. I think he's gone. I do. I think he's going to retire. I do. Brad's work this offseason will tell if they're just happy with butts and seats or we're really going to the Super Bowl. Absolutely. 100%, Theo. That's a great statement to make. That's kind of where I'm at with this. They're going to tell you long-term sustained success is what we're looking for, what we're going for. I think you can have both. I do. You can win a Super Bowl and still maintain long-term success. Danny says, your injury healed? Ready to strap the pads on? We'll likely need you out there. Hey, bud, I'm at 98%, I'd say. I was pitching to my son's 9 and 10-year-old team today. And, buddy, my right leg is feeling excellent. I was striking those kids out like it was my job. I think I broke a bantam record for strikeouts. Just kidding. Just batting practice. But no, it feels good, Danny. I appreciate it. Thank you for asking. Danny, being a part of the channel, was aware that Johnny Gaz tore his Achilles last year. A lot of the membership videos, well, actually, one of the membership videos laid that out in detail. Danny, I appreciate you, man. No mercy. That's right. I don't care if they're 9, 10. I don't care if they're 5. I don't care if it's T-ball. I'll blow it by you, baby. I want that K. I want that upside down K. Backwards K. No, I appreciate you guys. We're going to cut it right there. We're just over an hour. Had a lot of fun tonight. We hit on the Amon-Ra St. Brown situation. Talked about our amazing scene of Detroit sports happening right now with our Red Wings and our Pistons. And actually, before we go, let's check back in. It is the end of the first period. Unfortunately, Minnesota did tie it up. It is now 1-1. Kirill Kaprizov tied it up on the power play at 17-19 of the first period. Lucas Raymond with the Wings' first goal. So it is 1-1 at the end of the first. Looks like this game is on ESPN. So when I log off, guys, I suggest we jump right over and watch some Wings hockey. We can finish up the next 2 periods and end the night with a Wings victory. How's that sound? What's up, Ron? How you doing, buddy? Ronald Crosby says, Vikings fan here. I think you guys got so much talent and an excellent coach in Dan Campbell. I think the Lions are still very close. I appreciate you, Ronald. Thanks for getting involved in the chat. Skull! I always support NFC North teams, except when you're playing the Lions, of course, but I'm sure you feel the same way. But I appreciate you, buddy. And yeah, I you know, this channel certainly isn't making the argument. We're not doom and gloom here. I think the Lions have an extremely talented roster. I think it's just tweaking their offensive line, protecting Jared Goff, adding to their defensive line, hopefully. And, you know, we're obviously battling through this fan reaction to the offensive coordinator hire, Drew Petzing, but I think that there are good things ahead of this. So Ron, we're doing okay here. I appreciate you, buddy. Hopefully you'll be back and see us in another live. What's up, Rob? How you doing, bud? Don't know. Enjoy, baby. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Again, I appreciate it for coming along for another live. I'll be back next Tuesday. I will be live on Tuesday, so no worries. Stephen Williams, I appreciate you. Says, keep up the great work, Johnny. Thanks. Thanks, buddy. I hope you'll come back and see me on Tuesday. I'll be back live. Again, I'm not going on vacation until the first week of February, so I will be back Tuesday, January 27th, and again, January 29th. We'll have more Lions topics on Tuesday. We'll hopefully be talking about more Red Wings and Pistons victories and everything that comes along with the Lions off season. We'll know who's going to the Super Bowl as of next Tuesday, so we'll dive into that. We'll have a couple of weeks to prepare for the Super Bowl, and we're going to start talking Lions mock drafts because it is just about mock draft season, and I'm ready to get started. Appreciate you guys. Theo, good night. Everybody that was in the chat today, I appreciate it. Mister says, you are right. Just get us a Super Bowl. Forget about building a dynasty. Let's get that first one. We need one for it to become a dynasty, so I'm with you, Mister. So Mr. Theo, Steven, Don't Know, Rob, Ronald, Danny, Jay Cruisin, Detroit Fan Man, Trim, Gavis Con. Appreciate you all so much. I really do. I don't just say that. Michelle, Daniel, Robert, everybody that I saw in the chat today, I really appreciate your time and for being involved with the channel. Danny, love you, brother. You guys all take it easy. Let's have fun this weekend. Be safe, but enjoy the football. Go Lions. Go Red Wings. Go Tigers. Go Pistons. Good night, y'all.